Each individual has their designated role in society. Peasants labor on farms, feudal lords revel in their estates, and princesses reside in palaces, a belief she still clung to. Despite being captive, she pleaded for release, harboring intentions to inform His Majesty of intruders colluding with her mother. For over a decade, she assumed the princess's identity, tarnishing Bella Throff's reputation. Despite Princess Alencia's mercy sparing her life, her bitterness endured, fueling plans to instigate conflict between the Mage's Tower and the Empire. Facing a death sentence as a fake princess, she fiercely defended her perceived birthright. Denying impersonation, she asserted her belief in her lineage and pleaded for clemency. Disregarding her plea, His Majesty silenced her by ordering her mouth sewn shut, ultimately condemning her to burial, a fate unsuitable even for a thief. Whatever misstep Philomel made, it does not justify her execution. Merely stumbling upon a suspicious book in the garden, unaware of its contents, should not warrant death. Titled Princess Alencia, the book questioned her identity, contrasting her physical traits with those of the Empress. Rumors swirled about dynastic succession favoring a sideline relative, alienating Philomel from her father, and sparking doubts about her resemblance to the Empress. Despite His Majesty's assurances of reconciliation, Philomel remained skeptical, given his history of unfulfilled promises. Even excelling in her studies failed to dispel her doubts. And her father not only did not praise her, he did not even come to see her. The heroine asked the nanny if she was not at all like her mother. The woman replied that, strangely enough, Isabella had a great memory and was mature beyond her years. She was a good person, so if she wanted to follow her mother's example, she should behave decently at the festival. The festival was in honor of the founding of the state. According to legend, once the empire received the blessing of the deity of the sun. According to custom, the holiday begins with a memorable speech in the palace where the imperial family and the aristocracy gather. However, the holiday must be held under a clear sky where the sun's rays fall on the ground. It was raining outside, and the servant suggested that His Majesty postpone the holiday, although the scientists and magicians unanimously replied that it would not rain today, so the emperor told them to set a new date and inform him. The girl realized that the same thing had happened as in the book. What if the events from the book are not accidentally unfolding in reality? What if this whole story was real? She looked at her father and hoped that he would not postpone the holiday, and asked out loud that they should do as they said in the memorial speech. The man did not want to listen to her. He did not understand why he had to listen to the whims of this girl. Day after day, the nanny who beat the girl decided that she could not let her get away with what happened. So from that moment on, she was transferred to a special education system. She was brought medicine and asked why she did it, and she only needed to admit her guilt. Then she and the other girls would have gotten less. The girls asked her not to be too upset. The nanny is a moody person, so she will quickly cool down. As night fell, the girl wondered what the likelihood was that the postponement of the festival was just a coincidence, and that the book had just accurately predicted the events. No, it was not a novel. It was a prophecy. She thought that she was not the daughter of her father, Emperor Justus. She was a fake. The nanny came to wake the girl up. She was called by the emperor about yesterday, but she was not feeling well, and said she could not even get up. The woman thought she was faking it, and said she could not let today's situation go, and how many times she faked it to avoid going to class. But she really had a fever. All she wanted was to be loved, to be looked at just once, at least once. The nanny asked her why she was acting childishly in opposing the cancellation of the festival, and she told His Majesty that she would not be able to attend because she was ill. But she knew that the emperor was not the kind of person who would take care of her when she was ill. The girl knew about it, but she was just scared because her father did not even say warm words to her. And if everything goes as in the book, then in the end her father will kill her. Perhaps in the future, everything will change. She decided to go and ask now because she did not want to die in any way. She was going to her father's house, and she was dizzy. She heard voices coming from the room where the maids sleep. They were discussing why they should suffer because of the princess, since she was causing them problems. Their salaries were cut. The girl listened to them, and did not understand why they had such an attitude towards her. Even Martin, why was he treating her like this? The girls were so nice to her, and now they say they hate her. And they say she has no divine powers, which are a symbol of the imperial family. If this continues, then Duke Averdon may terminate the marriage agreement. Even when the princess fed him cake, he clearly did not like it. The girl decided she had enough, and went to her father because her life was in her hands. Poland tried to persuade the man to visit the sick princess, but the man did not understand why he was so worried. Maybe she was faking it again. But according to the doctor, this time, she was really sick. Now he feels nothing. He doesn't even hope that the girl will replace Isabella, and he would be happy if she performed at least minimal functions as an heir apparent. but she shows only very poor results. And even yesterday she made a scandal. So what else can we expect? Poland said that Philomel was also trying. She was still 9. To which the emperor replied that if he called tantrum suffering, then he was right. At her age, he had fought with his blood brothers. She was nothing like him. The girl did not understand what to do now. In the future, His Majesty would not forgive her even if she now began to behave sensibly. She wanted to ask for help, but there was no one who was on her side. The heroine began to cry a lot and did not want to live. When the tears in Philomel's eyes dried, she took out the prophecy and began to read it, thinking that maybe there was some kind of guide, a sure way to survive. In the novel, Philomel did not die immediately after being called a false princess, all thanks to the request of Valencia, who pardoned her. However, unable to overcome her envy and jealousy, she repaid her benefactors with evil and ended up in prison. But then she managed to avoid punishment, so she died. When she was caught for the second time, she realized that she just needed to escape before Alencia appeared. Even if it was impossible now, she would be able to as long as she had it. This is an object that has been passed down from generation to generation in the Bellerov family. Its name is the Ring of Recognition. Possessing the divine power of the Sun God, members of the imperial family can use various magic and abilities. Lack of powers is a problem for Philomel, but she must get the ring with her father's divine powers in it. We need a more authentic way. It's not enough to live a decent life, so there can be even more people who hate it. And on that day, the young fake princess began to create her plan, which could cost her life. His Majesty came to the girl. The nurse wanted to wake her up, but the man forbade her to do so. He didn't understand why he came here. If it wasn't for Poland, his leg wouldn't be there. But still, obviously, she was really sick. The girl began to speak and cry in her sleep. She asked her father if she was a good girl, so she asked him not to kill her. Why does everyone want to kill her so badly? She doesn't want to die. What if these were not just childish whims? What if she was not living the happy life of the emperor's only daughter, but was desperately asking him to pay attention to her? He thought he must be mistaken. Philomel held an incredible shining fruit in her hands, handed over to her by His Majesty. The nanny said yes, but it was too precious for a cold. She wondered if nothing had happened yesterday because it was really the fruit of the World Tree. The World Tree is a sacred tree located in the heart of the continent. The fruits that ripen on it are a miraculous medicine that gives the body energy. She never thought she would get something like this. Although perhaps it was Poland who sent him on behalf of the emperor. The girl conveyed her gratitude to the emperor for his great generosity and asked him to remove the fruit with the medicine. The nanny said that the gentleman asked for a visit. He said he would visit her when she was better, and asked when he should invite him. The girl thought about it and said that if it was possible, it would be this afternoon. The girl came into the room with his lordship and Nazar. The boy said that he could not help but worry about her when he heard the news of her illness. The man said that he had an important meeting, so he had to leave them, and asked Nazar to take care of the girl. His eyes were reading. Will he really cope? Nazar Averdeen, an adult beyond his years, good-natured, her future. The boy asked if she was okay. Maybe she was too overworked. She said she was fine and asked when her illness was over if he would mind going on a picnic with her. He didn't mind, and said he didn't care where he went, as long as he was with her. After talking, they decided that the weather was not suitable for a picnic, and that it would be nice to create the atmosphere of a real picnic indoors by preparing snacks. He agreed, and the girl realized that Nazar did not want to do anything with her. In the novel, Nazar offered leisure options without further ado, but not to her, but to Alencia. He never felt, etc., that she did. The guy said that he would contact the pianist when she got better. The girl interrupted him and said no, and added that he should pretend that this conversation had not happened, thanked him for visiting her, and said that from now on there was no need for him to come here so often. The girl decided to follow Nazar's example, to be friendly with everyone, but not to give her heart to anyone. But she realized that she would not be able to smile as naturally as Nazar. She was sitting in class. After reading a book, she asked the teacher which one she should read next. The woman decided that the girl was not even reading, but the girl said that she would be asked a question if she had any doubts. The teacher was incredibly impressed. She answered all the questions correctly. The princess had changed. Such news began to spread slowly through the imperial palace. As soon as she woke up from her bed, she immediately had a desire to study. It was said that the princess even asked questions if she did not understand the topic. Changes also affected the time she spent with Nazar. A maid stumbled and broke a cup that Duke Averdon had given the princess, and she thought she was dead. But the girl only told her to clean it up quickly so that the carpet wouldn't get wet, and to be careful not to get hurt. The maids discussed the situation. They believed that she was so affected by His Majesty's quarrel over the festival, and thought that she would soon return to her former state. The next day, rumors spread that the girl had passed the exam. A day later, she fell down and did not show a drop of irritation. A few days later, The cook said that Her Majesty had stopped being picky about the food. She ate everything. Had she really grown up? The nanny was happy because she believed that her upbringing had given results. It was a pity that she would have to quit her job because of her back, but they did not even realize how much work it cost her. A maid was looking for the girl to tell her that His Majesty had told her to bring the girl to share a meal. The girl did not understand why he had called her. It could not be that he simply wanted to enjoy the meal in her company. The man said that he heard that she was focused on her studies. All the teachers never stopped praising her. The girl thanked him and said that it was all thanks to the wonderful teachers that His Majesty had assigned to her. His Majesty. During the time they had not seen each other, she began to speak in such an adult way. And now he must behave as befits an imperial person. He asked her how she was feeling, and she said that after taking the medicine he sent her, she was much better. He said that he was glad to hear that, and added that her mother was also in poor health, and said that if she wanted to receive something as a reward, she only had to say so. What she had been waiting for happened much faster than she expected. She decided that it was too early to ask for anything, and said that it was enough that he appreciated her efforts. After he answered, she realized that it was time, and began to say that she actually had one request. Poland came to the nanny to tell her His Majesty's words to leave her duties. She had done a good job taking care of the Empress and Princess. To this day, she would be provided with generous compensation, so she would definitely not be disappointed. The princess heard this conversation and thanked her for the time they had spent together. And now, she would finally have a rest after years of such tiring work. The woman was shocked by this news because she was not going to resign. Poland asked her if she was suffering from back pain. Her Majesty personally informed the Emperor about it. Therefore, from today on, she needs to put aside her work and take care of herself, and they will find a good maid for Her Majesty. The only thing left to do is to expel the others from here. They will only be an obstacle to her. But still, she managed to change at least something. Little by little, she feels that things are not the same as before. It's a great start. A few days later. That's right. The maid who took care of Valencia is Countess Deles, and with her, her plans will definitely come true. Poland tried to persuade the woman because they could not find a person who could do the job better than her. The woman thought about it. A capricious and sensitive child. There are not the best rumors about her. Is it worth taking on this job? It is necessary to make a worthy first impression on the princess. The woman was having tea with the girl, and she was amazed that it was nothing more than the usual rumors of aristocrats and why they spread such stories. The princess asked if the woman knew anything about fashion, and if she could look at her dresses. She had a lot of beautiful clothes. They went to look through her wardrobe. The woman thought that the princess would be too mature for her age, but her childhood had not quite left her. The countess looked at her wardrobe. The dresses were good, but there was chaos. They were crumpled and not distributed by season. Where is it seen that maids of noble birth made such a gross mistake? The woman saw this picture and decided that she needed a crowd of new maids. After a while, the entire staff of the princess's maids was replaced. The reason for this was the results of an investigation conducted at the request of the countess, during which not only negligence, but also theft from the budget was revealed. All those involved were severely punished, and the nanny was no exception. She had stolen the most money and got off with only seizure of property. However, they said she came to the palace and caused a stir. Eventually, she was beaten and expelled. A success, as expected. Countess Deles is a very intelligent, orderly, self-respecting woman who has been a strong support for Valencia. If the events had not unfolded as written in the book, she would not be standing next to her now. Thanks to her, the princess managed to see off the nanny and other maids. But it was not yet time to relax. Another day passed. She hoped that from now on everything would go smoothly. The woman brought the girl some mountain herbs and asked why she needed them. The princess told her that His Majesty was a drinker, and she had read that herbs helped to cope with a hangover. When she opened the herbs, she smelled a terrible odor. No matter how great a hangover remedy they were, the herbs would be hard to drink for free. But she had everything she needed: bitter mountain herbs and the juice of the world tree fruit. If you mix both ingredients, you will get a wonderful, life-giving medicinal tea. This is the case when mixing good ingredients has a beneficial effect on the body. According to the book, it was Valencia who was the discoverer of the drink. In any case, she already eats well. Everything is great in life, so she must give in. But she believed that a real princess would have done differently. And yet, Valencia has a good heart, and she was ready to give this tea to some knight. But the heroine is not like that. The best is for influential people. Everything is ready. All that remains is to take it to His Majesty. Countess Deles woke up the emperor, but he was hungover and had a headache, so he asked her to be quiet. But the woman only said that he had a visitor. The girl came with tea and asked how he was feeling. He wondered what the girl was doing there. She said she had brought tea with mountain herbs to make him feel better. Countess Deles said that the girl made this tea herself, and that the fact that she cares for her father is worthy of praise. Philomel said that the smell of the drink is not very good, but the taste is. The tray was heavy, and the girl could barely hold it. The man helped her by taking the tray away. Then he started to taste the tea. It tasted not so bad. She said that she made it with herbs and world tree juice. The man said that he wanted her to use him, but the girl said that she had completely recovered from the disease and he often suffered from hangovers. She realized that he often consumes alcohol in large quantities, and since it had been a decade since he started abusing alcohol, it was around the time when Empress Isabella died and the girl was born. He learned about the death of his beloved and the daughter turned out to be a fake. My father turned to Her Majesty and said that thanks to her, his mind had become clearer, and if she wanted something, let her speak. But Philomel knew that he would reward her this time because it was the Emperor's way. She thought,
Love the Manhwa? Subscribe for more. Your support makes it all possible. Hit subscribe now!